5th.
Definitely. And Lunatic actually coming in here with Skylar or Relics on the roster at the moment, who I do believe also is standing. So standing in tonight. Yeah, so I believe that's your pick, Tivu, that's not in here tonight because it looks like Relics is in his place. And actually, speak of the devil, Relics is able to open it up onto Finesse right off the bat. So Lunatic on CT side here will open things up effectively. Invert will also answer. That's Tarek going down. Haste in the bomb site trying to fight. Invert will get him also. Lucky gains some traction, quickly traded out, and it's all up to Cutler now. Steps out of the Roka room, able to get himself 2 and stay alive here. He's going to be getting pinched, though. One's a A-main. One, and there it is. The A-main player will pinch on him and easily take him down. That will make it 1-0 in favor of Lunatic.
Yeah, hadn't even noticed Relics' presence in the server, but he made us pretty aware of him pretty quickly, stepping up and catching that huge opening frag, and then kind of bookending the round by picking up the last one. The Lunatic players did a really good job of containing the CLG players and really just not letting them get any good opportunities. They just came out on top of the gun battles for the most part there. So let's see what CLG has in response. They have armor pretty much across the board and upgraded pistols, so they are pretty financially invested in this round, but you can tell Lunatic not messing around. They do not want to get eco. They have 3 FAMASs and an M4, almost no nades. Not a terrible idea. I guess you don't want the other team creeping in your own smokes, but you do want some supplementary nades if you need to retake. But I guess they're hoping the rifles will do that work for them.
So already CLG is going to try and work their way up the highway, unabated so far, but Drake is there at the top to get himself an opener. Drossel also, and this is going to be an eco round coming from CLG. Still just kind of hanging out in mid right now, and they're getting shut down. The pinch was on between Scouts and Drake right there. Invert was in it. Drossel also getting frags into the round. That makes it 2-0 for Lunatic, but they just kind of stalled out. CLG did right there in middle. Didn't really have anywhere to go and just got crunched on.
Yeah, that's really the benefit to buying rifles on the round 2. You don't, as I said, you don't get the supplementary nades if you need to retake. You're limiting yourself to having to stay at a really far range and just hope you can kill the other team before they can properly execute and get out in front of your face. And it seems like they did that just pretty well. All the players, even when they were peeking, were doing a good job of putting their backs to other exposed areas. They were never being shot at from multiple areas, and they just took the battle one at a time from as long a range as possible, using the advantage they had with the rifles, and just they worked it really well.
So into round 3 once again. CLG looking to do that 3-man up over the top and mid with Finesse. Here comes the boost over. They're going faster. They're going to try and work their way into the B bomb site. Invert will be there to trying to counter this. Gets the headshot on the first. Can't get the second. Does he go for the third? Nope. The pinch is coming though. Tarek is going to drop down into the checkered, but outside will be Relics able to grab 2. Scouts is there from inside the bomb site for the cleanup frags. 2 for Scouts, 2 for Relics. And that will make it 3-0 in favor of Lunatic as we go on to our first full buy of the game.
Yeah, and obviously Relics is going to be rebuying up to replace that MP7. Probably the player you'd recommend die on the team if someone had to die. But I was really curious about how they were going to handle the FAMAS situation. They had a bunch of them, and it looks like they're actually just going to be holding on to 2 of them, which makes sense. I was kind of a little concerned that they would hold on to more and not pass them around effectively and kind of get punished for having the slightly weaker rifle. But I like that they decided to pick up some info. I also like that they pushed the one from us close up to mid, have them force the early engagement. It looks like so far things are going in the way of CLG as Tarek picks up 2 frags for the multiplayer boost.
Yeah, so that's a big opener there. Tarek able to get both of those. Hayes coming right around the corner. Relics is in his face, and Relics will take him down. Pushed aggressively outside B. Rotates back into the B bomb site. Not aggressive anymore. That will even things out at a 3-on-3. That's going to help out quite a bit going into this round. So CLG is trying not to drop it. Tarek Mike coming around the corner, and Tarek goes down to Drake. Now it's going to be a 3v2. And it's looking rough here, but Cutler and his teammate Lucky will try and work their way in, but Relics is still there inside the site, gets 2 eventually in the round before he goes down, and Cutler into a 1-versus-1 at the B bomb site. If he would have got the frag, it would have been 1-versus-1 against Drossel, but he couldn't take down Drake, and that will be 4-0 Lunatic.
Yeah, Lunatic starting off things really well, and even though that round did end up getting worked down to a 1-on-2, Lunatic did a good job of battling back right off the bat. It was something like a 4-on-5 after Tarek got those first trades in middle. So a round that very easily could have gone poorly for Lunatic, they were able to regain traction on and put it together. I think mostly off the back of Relics. They're getting that aggressive peek and push in B, kind of allowed them to reopen up the round and allowed him to sit more comfortably in the site, knowing he could play to when they were coming to him rather than having to feel the need to force another frag. But this round, the A execute is on, and it is an eco for CLG.
Oh, Drake right there. We watch him get caught from behind, trying to hold that site down. Invert is playing smart here, waiting for his teammates to get in. Bomb still not down yet. They're trying to boost up over the quad box. This Molotov is going to hurt, though. They're going to have to try and get away from that on the escape. And Invert will take down Hayes. Scout is there to also get Cutler. And now it's up to Finesse behind the forklift, looking for a rifle. Couldn't find one, and Relics will remove his face from the round. That will make it 5-0 Lunatic, as we will be going back into a bye for CLG.
Yeah, it was kind of up to FNS there, I feel like, to break them out of that round as he was hidden behind forklift. They had no idea he was there. It allowed him to pick up one frag, but really once he was pinned and pretty much unable to peek, or else he would get blasted easy 1-for-1 trade for the CTs. But also his teammates were trapped, and they knew where his teammates were, so perhaps he could have made his presence a little more known, drawn some attention, so that way his duo that was behind quad could have made a play. By kind of sitting back there and letting things pan out naturally, he worked himself into a pretty much unwinnable 1-on-3. And Invert and Hayes teaming up to actually trade out for his team. Now Lunatic with a one-man advantage going into the rest of this round.
Yeah, that was a rough look right there for Hayes. Takes down his own teammate. Scouts will be on the flank, though. Tarek is going to be over there. He's able to get a frag. Finesse is also able to get one, so now it's going to be Drossel and Invert versus Finesse and Tarek. Bomb planted in the B bomb site. Both terrorist players have rotated over towards... actually, now they're both going to be really close to the checkered room. And there goes Tarek. Now it's all going to be up to Finesse. Finesse will rotate outside of the bomb site. It's going to be a little bit harder to cover from up there, especially with the molly going down here. Let's see what Drossel can make happen. He's going to stick this.
He's sticking
Finesse.
it. Oh.
Finesse gets the angle on him and takes him down with only about a second and a half to spare. CLG is finally on the board thanks to a 1 versus 2 from Finesse.
Yeah, but they're going to need to chain together wins if they want to stop the momentum of Lunatic here. I actually thought CLG got a little too peaky there on that retake, but it kind of just worked out. And that seems to be where their bread and butter is. They're all just really good individually talented players, and when they step out and make a peak, they come out on top just the majority of the time. That's kind of what they're all about. So while I wouldn't recommend them take such an aggressive approach to really just like stepping out and peaking and forcing engagements from the B bomb site, it worked out that round for sure. And now we have Lucky actually getting taken down by a pushing Drake, although a lot of damage went out towards Lunatic. CLG chipping away at Drossel and Drake there.
Yeah, Drossel actually down to 17 HP, excuse me. Drake down to 40. Lucky is out of the round for CLG. That will be a 5-4 advantage for Lunatic. But as I said, 2 of their players down very, very low on HP, very close. A single nade could take both those guys out. But at the moment, luckily for them, there's only 1 nade in the hands of Counterlogic Gaming, and that is on the back of Finesse. Finesse is working up through A main at the moment. Him with the bomb, getting aggressive. It's going to be a split into A. They're going to try and work their way up highway and through A main, and Cutler will be the first one up. Drake is right there with his teammate, Drossel. Oh, that boost. I thought it was happening. Oh, Drossel gets boosted over the top and goes down, but Drake is still there. Finally gets sniffed out by Hayes and taken down. So now, Relics, closest one to the site. He's got a teammate really close. He's out of it. Invert's able to get a trade out frag, though, and Hayes is still up and gunfighting. Now it's all up to Scouts, also from the white truck. He knows one is there, tries to take down Finesse, and he does. Picks up another rifle to fight. Out of ammo again in that rifle, and eventually gets taken down. Drops a rifle to have a rifle with almost no bullets, uses them, throws that rifle down to pick up his empty rifle, and then get taken down by Hayes.
Yeah, Invert is not playing mid aggressively enough to dissuade CLG from bullying their way through mid and splitting on A. I was really just so focused on the finesse engagement over there in A main that it kind of hadn't occurred to me that a split would be as easy as it was. And really, once the players started splitting up highway, there was no hope for a Lunatic. There was just so much coverage
Yeah.
that the Terrorists were taking, so much map control that they had taken away from a Lunatic that, well, really, if they had lost at that point, it would have just been, just tremendous failure of, of play in the mechanics. They had strategically dominated that round, and now stringing together rounds, let's see if they can keep it up.
Oh, Drossel in the site trying to defend, is able to pick up one. It will be an eco from Lunatic, though. They've gained a little traction. Drake is able to get it off. Can he get the shot? Cutler too fast for him. Takes him down. That will make the score 5-3 as Counter Logic Gaming is picking up a little bit of steam now.
Yeah, and this is also where CLG gets the most dangerous. As you said, that steam really drives this kind of team, and once they get their momentum, they can be really hard to stop. I really thought with Lunatic's 5 straight right off the bat, they could have continued to pose a really strong threat to CLG and kind of break them morally and mentally before CLG was able to win some rounds. But I think CLG got a grip on the game right when they needed to. I think 5 rounds is a totally reasonable amount to give up early on and battle back from. Just so long as you actually do the battling back. And Invert boosting over mid picks up 2 frags before getting traded. That is an instant 4-on-3 man advantage for Lunatic going into this must-win round.
Oh, lucky gets taken down by Drake right there. Invert able to pick up 2 of those frags before he gets dropped by Haste. That is a gigantically good opener. If you're Lunatic eSports who wants to get back on the correct footing here, it will be 4 versus 2. Finesse and Hayes trying to enter into the A-bomb site. Working slow here, playing the angles. They only have 1 man to beat. They do not know that, though, as Drossel is going to be back there in the corner at the quad box, trying to jump up over the top. They're crouching down. They know somebody could be there. Hayes goes down to Drossel. He's looking for the secondary one, but the player up highway is going to be closer, and that will be Drake, but he is taken down by Finesse, and now Finesse will drop that Molotov in the corner, burn Drossel out, and get the frag onto him. Can he take down Scouts? He's into a manageable 1v2 now. He bombed down a little bit behind him, tries to step up over the top, almost gets caught. Now out in the open will be Scouts, gets the frag onto him, and he is turning this around quickly. It's going to be Relics versus Finesse, 1 versus 1. Relics right there around the corner, pop flash goes out, Relics turns away from it and is able to win the 180 aim battle against Finesse and clutch it for his team, but Finesse almost had a gigantic 1 versus 4.
Yeah, that would have been absolutely nuts. And for a second there, I really thought he could do it. You could see how experienced FNS is in these situations, just constantly has a plan, especially with that Molotov on quad, forcing the guy out of quad and then hitting a sick 1-tap on it. Like, it was like he was like reading into the Matrix. He knew what was going to happen before it even happened. He read that player like a book. So I thought he'd be able to turn it into the eventual 1-on-4, but unfortunately that flash was not quite getting it done with that. Lunatic eSports back on the board, 6-3. Both teams kind of broken bought here. CLG way more broken than Lunatic, though, as they do have 2 pistols, 1 on Tarek, 1 on Cutler.
Yeah, this Tarek is really good with that Rec 9 in hand. Cutler can also use it extremely well, so it's not a bad round for them to be trying to do this. It is a broken buy coming from them, as later talked about with the rifles and the pistols, but they are going to try and grab this here. They definitely want a bomb plant, and Drossel doesn't know how close to on point he was with that spam through the door, and here comes the execute in that direction. Oh, Cutler gets dinked right off the bat. He's very low. Flashbangs come out. Drake is able to take down Cutler. It's going to be an execute into the A-bomb site. Lucky takes on Drossel. Drake is right there fighting, trades out Tarek, but can't get the one onto Finesse, and so, boom, A-bomb site is officially taken. Are they going to get that bomb down? There it is. Just now planted by Finesse. Now we will have a 3-on-3, 2-on-3 now, as it's going to be a 2-man retake. Relics and Invert, and Counter Logic Gaming is really making it happen here at this A-bomb site if they can hold this retake and prevent Relics and his teammate Invert from stepping in, and Relics steps right in there, gets an opening frag. Now they got 1 player to beat at the back of the bomb site. That's Finesse. He's out of the way. Now it's all up to Hayes here.
It's not planted for main.
No, it's not planted for him, and Relics can stick. No, he doesn't stick it. He goes for the gunfight.
He can still get it. Oh, yeah. Maybe not.
No, he's got it.
It's going to be close.
He's got it.
You're right.
Man, he could have stuck that and won that, but he does the crazy thing and steps off of it and goes for the gunfight. Though that's a situation where you would be unbelievably mad if you didn't win the gunfight.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. But it seemed like I was kind of hopping between the players. He might have hesitated a little bit before really hopping on it, because when I hopped over, he was getting pushed down, and there still had like 4 or 3.5 seconds on the clock. So Yeah, I'm not really sure if he had committed immediately. But as you said, had he committed just absolutely immediately and hadn't thought twice about it, then definitely could have caught it if he had just stuck it. But I think he made the right decision by popping out, getting the frag, and just further securing it. I mean, it's easy to think you can do that in 5 seconds, but this game is pretty crazy. He had a pistol out. He was running full sprint right at him, wasting no time. So I like the decision to pop out and get the frag. I'm a little surprised we're not seeing CLG work and split mid a little more often than they are. It seemed like they were so effective with it earlier on, and it seemed like they were just kind of cruising their way through mid that they might be more interested in it. But now Relic's about to go to town. It's like a shooting gallery for him as he gets 4. Can he get the ace? Oh, he runs out of ammo.
Didn't quite have enough ammo to make that happen. And one thing I was noticing here is Relic's left his former roster, was taking a little bit of a break, maybe going to a different team here. And it was looking like some people were like, man, is Relic's retiring after he left SKDC? But I mean, the way he's playing now, he definitely, if retiring was on his mind, somebody needs to go slap him in the face, because retiring should not be on his mind at all. He's still very young, still plays extremely well. And yeah, if he could continue to play like this, he's going to be a gem for any roster to have.
Absolutely, and looks like CLG is going to take a little more mid aggression this round. I think that's absolutely the right play. They were splitting A nearly effortlessly, and when it worked out, boy, did it work out. But it's going to be up to Lucky, I think, to get a pick on Drake here. And he's unable to.
Ooh. Yeah, Drake is able to take him down, beat him from the white box all the way out into mid. Good jump there. Invert is right there in mid, though, trying to clean up some of these frags. Tarek is going to be out in the open, and they're just kind of waiting here. CLG kind of halted into this round, not being aggressive anymore, not really knowing what to do at this point. Everything so far has been relatively shut down, especially with Lunatic now having 8 rounds, officially winning the half. And the best that CLG can hope for is 7 rounds in their favor, as Invert is able to take down Finesse. And now Tarek working by himself, or Tarek working by himself all the way up the highway. Hayes will get a frag. Tarek is able to get one also, and that's going to be an entry into the A-bomb site, but Tarek gets jumped right there, gets the first one, can't take down the second, and we're into a 2 versus 2 in A.
Yeah, it looks like, I think Tarek actually got dinked before he got another frag there. Great discipline, getting shot and still being able to keep it together. Hayes now actually getting exposed. The players know exactly where he is, and there's not a lot of time on the clock. Great flash, and he's actually able to pick up both of them with that flash. So Hayes stepping up big from the quad box there. Love that peek. Throw the flash one way, peek the other. Either you catch players that are not looking, their backs are to you because they were trying to dodge the flash, or you get guys that just don't know where to look and they're blind. That's a slick move right there. Quick thinking.
Yeah, I really like that, how that happened. It worked out in their favor, and look at that. 1 round in a row. That's going to force Lunatic into a save here with only pistols, their economy, because the rounds they are winning are very close rounds. They're having a lot of rebuys, so that's keeping their economy relatively in check against what CLG is able to bring. But Drake steps out, takes down Finesse. Scouts gets aggressive also. He goes down, and at this point, CLG knows they're on an eco. Doesn't matter. Relics with the 1 dig through into B main from all the way at the CT connector or creeper, and a good, beautiful shot there as bomb gets planted and Relics gets punished with a touchdown grenade.
It's going to be a really hard one for Lunatic to win, but if they can get 1 more frag or 2 more frags, I think they'll be in decent shape. Lucky catching the first one. Looks like he's going to be able to pretty easily pick up the second one here unless Invert goes absolutely nuts, and he will be able to do it.
Yeah, Lucky at the end gets the exchange, will win that, or help win that for his team, which is exactly what they need finally. They got that 5th round. They're picking up a little bit of momentum here. It's not the greatest so far. Lunatic's still up on top, but they're going to be back onto kind of a full buy. It's a little bit more partial. Some of their players only rocking FAMASas, 2 of them to be exact, between Relics and Scouts. Only 2 players with head armor on CT side. Lunatic, that's going to be Drossel and Drake. So it's going to be a buyout here. They're committing to this round. They want to win this. They want to make this a 9-5 half as they hit the final round.
Let's see if they can catch Color out here, because I think this is a pretty must-win round. And they are not only are they able to catch Color, but Drake also finds Lucky. So now a 5-on-3 in this must-win round as Tarek goes down as well.
Tarek. held that spray a little bit too long, didn't realize he only had one bullet left, fired it off, ran out of ammo, easily was taken down. So now it's all up to Finesse and Hazed. They're going to be 2 versus 5. Not a single CT punished yet, even though they've got 3 frags onto the round. And we're going to have Hazed and Finesse left alive. It's going to be Hazed over there with the bomb by himself, kind of wrapping back towards mid. Finesse is working back in that direction also. They both have AKs. They both have head armor here. And this will effectively really wreck their economy going into the next... it's not too horrible. 2 of their players under 1,000. The other 3 above 2. 1 above 3,100. And that's Invert taking down Hayes as they come out mid. Then scouts out of the vent will take down Finesse. And that makes it 9-5 as the buyout will be coming this round from Counter Logic Gaming.
Yeah, as you said, they're not going to be completely broke, but they are most definitely not going to be rich, not going to be as rich as I'm sure they want to. And Lunatic continuing to find success with some slightly aggressive play. We saw some really good boosts over mid before that paid off for Lunatic. Last round, they were able to push into main and Squeaky to find frags. It seems like they're doing a really good job of mixing up when they're using their aggression. And man, that might have been the best nade I've ever seen in my life. That did damage to all of them.
That was nice. Look at all the damage out on the board. Now it's only going to be Tarek left alive, and he is down at the end. Relic's playing like an animal there. I mean, what did he end with that half? Where is he at? 19-8. Yeah, Relics is playing like hot fire right now.
Definitely, and if you're gonna pick up a stand-in to play in your game, you definitely want someone to go absolutely hard, just like Relics is right there. As I said, Lunatic was kind of in that must-win round before. Not that it was must-win. Like it's not like CLG was at 15 rounds or anything like that. But at 8-6, 8-5, it very easily could have ended in an 8-7 half. And because they were able to get aggressive on that round, force the early engagements and start to work the round in their favor, a 10-5 round is a half is a completely different landscape. And what I initially thought was going to be a really tough map for Lunatic is starting to look pretty good if they can keep it up on their own terrorist side. Seems like a bunch of armor and a few nades out for them as they're working their way over towards probably going to be a really standard smoke, flash, and go setup. Probably a smoke for highway and a flash for really wherever they can land it. They are actually going to be boosting Drake over mid as well, so they're getting a little bit of a split on. He might be able to catch Cutler off guard here, and he will.
Oh my goodness, Drake, Scouts, and Relics all getting frags. Entries into the A bomb site. They've completely shut it down. Here comes the rotate from Finesse and Tarek. There goes Finesse. Now it's all up to Tarek. He will be 1v5 in this pistol round to get something going. Tries to step out. Can he take down Drake? And he will. Still fighting, though. Relics is going to be up on the boost spot. Taking a ton of damage will be Tarek. He's going to try and work his way up. Tarek all the way up the highway at the moment. He's going to have about 3 terrorists looking into his face. Can he get any of them? Has to go on to the reload. Does some damage, but eventually goes down after 1 frag. And that will make it 11-5 in favor of Lunatic.
Yeah, it seemed like the players coming through A main weren't going to have much of a problem anyway. They seemed like they kind of just fragged their way through the site, but Drake coming up from highway was just so important, taking down, I think it was Cutler who was playing there, and just essentially cutting off all support that the CLG players were going to get in the A site. And then I think actually picking up a second one on the round grand total later down the line. So really good play from him, great coordination between him and the rest of his teammates there to pick up a much needed pistol round. If they can avoid getting ecoed here as CLG is pushing right into A main, they might be able to continue to find some success. But Tarek just I think did he even get that Mac 10? I don't think he did. I think he's just going to take the 5-7.
Yeah, I mean, he's down to 40 HP. It's a little bit risky of a repeak. They don't know for sure. Oh, look at this over-rotate. They are rotating hard into B. Well, it's not really an over-rotate, actually. Excuse me. This is a nice rotate here. All 4 CTs in that direction, ready to go. They got some information, so now CLG is going to have to rotate into it. Let's see if they can make it happen. Color's able to grab 2. Invert is there to grab 2 also. Now we're all up to Finesse and Drossel. And Drossel will get the spraying clutch. And Lunatic holds on, but just barely. Thanks to Drossel with that 1v1 win over Finesse. And if you're CLG, that is the kind of round that you want, especially from an eco.
Yeah, definitely. If CLG could have picked that up, that would have been massive for them. That would have been a huge first step in bringing themselves back into this game. But really, kind of got the next best thing. I don't think Lunatic. I mean, I know they didn't get a plant last round, and they took God knows how many rifles out of their hands. Only allowed them to save one AK-47. So really, if you're not going to win a round, they probably had the best possible outcome. And as you were commenting on, a great read in that rotate all the way over to B. It looked like it really could have blown up in their faces had the Lunatic players just figured it out and shuffled the other way, but it almost worked perfectly.
Oh, that's going to be Scouts taking down Lucky. And Invert on a drop right there actually hits a headshot onto Haste. So Color will be the man there at the white truck trying to make it happen, but Drake will easily drag him out of the round. There goes Tarek on the rotate, so now it's all up to Finesse. 1v5, pistol in hand, he's got a P250. Can he hit any of these shots? He's already got Drake behind him. Can he hit that? No, Drake! A little too fast with the Galil in his face. That will make it 13-5 in favor of Lunatic as we hit that first full buy round for both teams in second half.
Super clean round for Lunatic, as you said, not really even being challenged there, just kind of taking each engagement one at a time and coming out on top of them. I see Drake holding on to that Galil, hopefully doesn't get punished for that, but I think that'll match up well against Lucky's FAMAS in this all-rifle round. In fact, I'm not really sure if we've seen any op play at all. I can't think of a round where an op came into play. No. Or if it did, it was not effective, as Relics finds the first frag, and that brings his frag count up to 22, which is going absolutely huge. Way, I think, higher above the call that a stand-in typically would have, but I'm sure Lunatic is just happy to have him on their squad.
Yeah, definitely. Finesse out mid will finally gain some traction for his team, though. Even it up at a 4-on-4. Drawsoul is right there. Actually, excuse me, that's going to be Invert. Going back. Oh, he might catch Finesse, but Finesse is luckily able to get out of there as Lucky, inside the A-bomb site, finds himself a frag onto Scouts. Relic's trying to work the door. Can he take down Lucky? Finally goes down. And CLG is looking like they might have a round win on their hands if they can just hold on here. It will be Drawsoul, Invert. Drawsoul and Invert line up there for Lucky, who's able to get 4K that round. That makes it 13-6, and that buy round goes in favor of CLG.
Absolutely massive for them, as I said, to get back into this game, but because Lunatic had that round where they kept all 5 of their members alive just the round before, it seems like they're going to have no problems buying up and continuing to keep the pressure on CLG. I mean, with this 7-round cushion in between these two teams, I'm really not sure if CLG, even if they do start to turn it up, are going to be able to really bring the comeback all the way back. I mean, I can't imagine Lunatic's going to be unable to pick up 2 over the course of the next many, but we will have to wait and see. Looks like they're going to be gearing up in A once again, and Cutler is in a great spot. Like, he had to have been called there. It looks like the terrorists are kind of running into a blunder.
Yeah, Invert's going to be the last one left alive here, trying to fight somebody out of the Shroud spot. That will be Cutler, and he stays perfect into the round. 3K for Cutler, 2K for Haste, and CLG is catching up just a little bit here.
Yeah, not really a fan of that A-take either for Lunatic. Not only did they all run through a smoke through A main, kind of, well, I mean, some of them chose to jump through it, but they didn't really even give themselves the proper supplementary. I don't think I saw a flash pop through it, or maybe even any of their own smokes to give them some support once they got to the other side of it. They were just hopping through a smoke and into the crosshair of God knows how many players that were already over there, so wouldn't mind seeing Lunatic clean things up a little bit, but Tarek and FNS are in a great crossfire there.
Yeah, great setup there. Tarek with an interesting position, throws that smoke down, gets in front of the box, actually. Instead of on the back side of it, using it as a shield, he just got down, used the smoke as a shield, had a terrorist run directly into him, ended up spraying down 3, and that was a good look for him. That was a good spot. You can only use that once or twice in a game, though, and I think they pulled it out, expecting an eco coming from Lunatic, and that will make it 13-8 as we hit round 22.
Yeah, in the past 3 rounds, that CLG has won, they've kept 4, 5, and 5 players alive on those rounds, so they're going to be swimming in cash. Now, Frags are trading out, and Scouts is actually coming out on top of it. Drake's also in a great position to catch one. Let's see if he can catch another one in mid, but no, Cutler's going to fall back into Z, seek some shelter in this now 4-on-2.
Oh man, that's going to be Drake taking down Hazed. Now we're going to be into a 4 versus 1 with Cutler all by himself. And it looks like the momentum of CLG is going to be stopped after 3 rounds in a row. And that's going to be 3 rounds in a row for Lunatik to start it off. CLG gets 3 in a row. Now Lunatik is back on the board, 14-8. And CLG does not have a lot of room to play with here, especially because if they drop one more round, Lunatik will be at match point.
Yeah, luckily they do have a lot of cash to buy out. We went from seeing no ops on this game to actually now seeing a double op setup coming out from Tarek and Hayes. Let's see if they can shut things down because they're going to need to string together some really convincing wins. That's kind of what I was talking about before, after the pistol round wins from Lunatik. Even if CLG turns it on, which I think they've already kind of started, they've started playing much better. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to break the cushion. But it looks like Hayes is just going to town on these guys. And man, that's 3 so far.
Hazed, finally some on play coming out here, and it's going to be Hayes using it. Tarek also has one. Hayes gets naded out right there, so Drake's going to try and wrap his way into the site. Color is right there around the corner. Relic's last one left, and he goes down to Lucky, so CLG prevents the match point from Lunatik. Makes the score 14-9, and they're back in the winning side.
And Lunatik's money is very literally all over the place. No 2 players have the same $1,000 amount. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before they start to buy. It looks like they're going to be saving really up. They did buy pistols right there at the last second, some upgraded pistols and some nades on scouts. I like that they're going towards B. I really have not liked what their A takes have looked like so far in this half. It seems like each one, CLG has just set up a better crossfire than they're prepared to beat. It looks like this round may be no different.
Yeah, Tarek right there doing well, able to get himself 2 initial frags. Relics will answer, but Finesse comes through the vent, able to pick up Drake. He's going to go for a 3rd, is able to get Scouts. Can he get all 3? And he will, as he takes down Scouts and Relics on the cleanup crew. That will make it 14-10 Lunatik eSports, and we might be having a mirrored image of what CLG has issues with, having another team not able to close out a map.
Yeah, and I kind of want to see Lunatik start to work mid a little bit more, kind of like I wanted CLG to on their own terrorist side. It seems like both teams have had success finding opening picks or finding some elbow room in mid to work the picks they need. I feel like every time we see Drake land in the blue dumpster area, he's picking up a 2K at least. So I wouldn't mind seeing that. Lucky's actually going to be kind of the first responder there, but he's going to be so blind, finally deciding to flash through a smoke before pushing it. There's actually a lot of players in mid ready to do battle.
Well, but Hayes is there with the op, so the double op look coming out for Counterlogic Gaming. He gets traded out very quickly, though, so Tarek is still going to be inside the B bomb site with that rifle, and he actually gets taken down by Invert. Drossel's in there to take down Finesse, so this is looking rough. It's all up to Cutler, 1v4, all by himself, rifle in hand. Can he get out there and make something happen? And he's going to get peeked from his right. That's Relics, who doesn't go down. Or, excuse me, Relics goes down to him. Cutler's able to get another 2. What? Spray control from Cutler. That's a 3K for him. Now he's into a 1 versus 1. He's storming his way into the bomb site. Turns his back around, checks to see if the terrorist was outside. No, he's going to be inside the site. He's going to play Ring Around the Rosie for a second. Cutler's looking to be sticking this. Does he survive? No, he will not. Invert will secure the round, win the 1 versus 1, get a 3K of his own, and make round 25 match point round for Lunatik as they hit round 26.
Great, cool, calm, collected play from Invert there. Not getting too antsy. I was actually initially concerned with how lackadaisically he was hanging out on the site. Kind of had his back turned to CT for a while. But played it cool, held the shift key the entire time, played it right. Did, as you said, the Ring Around the Rose to catch the diffuser there. Good round for Lunatik, all off the back of a really solid mid-take where I said both teams had really good success. Just kind of getting loose out there, finding the picks they needed. I'm surprised that both of these teams are as unwilling to use mid as it seems like they've been really successful at it. Looks like Lunatik might be getting the hint, though, as they're now boosting Relics over mid. And CLG doesn't have an op to challenge them, so it's not like they should fear going straight up on the boost and catching an op. I mean, I guess an M4, a silenced one, shoots about as straight as an op does, but not nearly as intimidating.
Oh, Finesse is able to gain some traction, though, onto Relics, drops his way out of the vent. Doesn't get punished by Drossel, though. Molotov comes out, doesn't do a ton to him. Cutler gets taken down by Drake, though. And so Finesse goes down to 31 HP, leaves the exchange. Hayes is still up, spray battle incoming, and Scouts will lose that one. That nade might be a touchdown, almost hits its target, which was Drake, down to about 2 HP. They're going to wrap this into a B-side take, as Drossel will be the first one in. Up above, though, Finesse. Does he stay up? Will Finesse get this? Drossel takes down Lucky. Do they look up top? There's Drossel, able to get the secondary, and this could be the final round of the game unless Hayes can do something about it. He's going to be 1v3. Drake down to 2 HP, Drossel down to 78, Invert at 71. But Hayes himself down to 17, hits an initial headshot onto Drake. Invert waiting for the cross, will easily take him down. That will be 16-10. Lunatic takes map number 1, despite Cutler's efforts of being 22-19 that game.
Yeah, and I mean, I know that was an upset, and I think a lot of people had a lot of faith in CLG, but the way Lunatic has been playing, it's just been looking so good. I mean, the way I thought about this series, I genuinely, before the game, would not have told you that Lunatic was going to be taking the first map off of CLG, but I remember in their game against VVV, which I don't think is nearly as bad as a quote-unquote mismatch on paper, I thought to myself, there's no way Lunatic is going to win any of these maps. And not only did they win, they threw that right back in the face, and they won both of them. So going into this series, I kind of had the thought that, I'm not going to count Lunatic out of this at all. I didn't think that they would be that good. I didn't think they would be able to just instantly. I don't think they were going to be able to bully CLG around like they did. But you can't give even these quote unquote tier 2 teams the same there's no way treatment anymore. You just can't. They're all starting to catch up. They're all starting to play really well, and man, Lunatic looked really good right there. Last night, CLG started CT side first on Inferno and ended up losing the map. So if I'm Lunatic, I'm not feeling like we have this locked up by any stretch of imagination. You're still playing CLG. They're still going to be CT side first, but got to be feeling pretty good.